I entered the alien royal bath by accident. What I discovered was Forbidden Commander Alex Rains had spent months on the distant planet of Veloria, assigned as a liaison between the humans and the Valian Empire. The planet itself was breathtaking. Towering crystalline structures reflected the pale light of Veloria's twin suns, and rivers of luminous water wound like veins through cities that floated high above the ground. The Valians themselves were elegant and enigmatic, their translucent skin glowing softly under the ambient light, their long, graceful forms moving with a serenity that made humans feel almost clumsy in comparison. Alex had grown accustomed to the daily routine of the palace, attending meetings with Valian diplomats, learning their complex language and observing their traditions. But despite his familiarity, he remained cautious. One misstep in protocol could cause offense or worse, threaten the fragile peace he was tasked to maintain. He had studied their customs diligently, and yet, even the most careful man could be tripped up by curiosity, that human trait that the Valians seemed to view with mild suspicion. It was during a particularly quiet morning that Alex found himself wandering away from the main corridors of the palace. Most of the palace personnel were engaged in preparations for a grand ceremony later that day. Human eyes would have seen it as empty hallways and quiet spaces, but Alex, trained in observation, noticed faint streams of light reflecting off walls in directions that no regular corridor should have taken. He followed one such reflection, thinking it led to a serene observation area, a place where one might watch the rising suns and the flow of the crystalline rivers below. The hallway curved unexpectedly, ending at a door that shimmered faintly, almost as if the material itself were alive. Alex, ever curious, reached out to touch it. His fingers met the surface, and it rippled like liquid crystal. A soft hum resonated in the air, and the door slid open silently. Before him lay a chamber unlike anything he had ever seen. Water filled the room, covering the floor in shallow pools, and mist hovered above the surface. The walls glowed with faint symbols, constantly shifting, writing themselves anew as though telling a story Alex could not yet understand. Small lights floated above the water, suspended like glowing insects, and their movement created reflections that danced across the ceiling. The scent of minerals and ozone filled the air, soothing and strange all at once. Alex stepped inside, careful not to slip on the slick floor. He had no idea that he had entered a place forbidden to all but the royal family. In his mind, it was a sanctuary, a place to rest, perhaps even to meditate. His reflection rippled across the water, a human figure awkward and foreign in this alien elegance. His eyes were drawn to something shimmering beneath the surface of the water. At first he thought it was a trick of the light. Then he realized it was an object, small, crystal-like, and pulsing faintly with a soft, inner glow. He knelt beside it, curiosity overcoming caution. When he reached into the water, the crystal seemed to recognize him. Its glow intensified, and he felt a strange warmth travel through his hand, up his arm and into his chest. Suddenly, flashes of images assaulted his mind. He saw the history of the Valian Empire, the rise of the royal family, battles fought in the cold void of space, treaties signed with alien civilizations, and secrets kept hidden even from the Valian scholars themselves. The visions were not just images, they carried feelings, lessons, and warnings. He realized almost with a shock that the object was more than a simple crystal. It was alive in some sense, sentient and aware of his presence. Alex pulled back his hand, gasping, feeling both awe and fear. His heart pounded in his chest. The chamber seemed to grow quieter, the mist settling as if observing him. And then he heard it, a soft, almost imperceptible sound like the shifting of air, footsteps gliding across the wet floor. He was not alone. Before he could react, the young Valian princess, Lyra, appeared. She moved with a grace that made him feel clumsy in comparison, her translucent skin catching the light, her eyes glowing faintly as she looked at him with a mixture of surprise and curiosity. "You shouldn't be here," she said softly, her voice musical and calm. "No outsider has entered this chamber in centuries. How did you find it?" Alex froze, unsure how to respond. He wanted to explain that it had been an accident, that he had been curious, that he had no intention of trespassing, but the words seemed inadequate. The princess tilted her head, studying him. There was no anger in her eyes, only intrigue. I didn't know," Alex finally said. "I was following a light. I thought it led somewhere else." Lyra's eyes narrowed slightly, then softened. "Curiosity," she murmured. "Humans are curious." She paused, then stepped closer, her gaze falling on the crystal still pulsating faintly in his hand. "And you touched it." Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. "I didn't mean to. I don't know what it is, but it showed me things. I didn't understand them all." The princess looked at him with something approaching respect. "The crystal reveals what the chamber guards for. It tests those who touch it. It shows knowledge that is forbidden to most for the safety of the empire." She walked to the water's edge, her reflection mingling with his in the rippling surface. "Yet somehow you have seen it. That is unusual." Alex could barely process her words. He had only meant to satisfy his curiosity, not unlock ancient secrets. Yet here he was, standing in a room that had been off-limits to everyone but the royal family, holding an object that pulsed with knowledge centuries old. He felt the weight of his mistake, and a flush of anxiety rose in him. "You could be punished for this," he said quietly, the words tasting heavy on his tongue. "I didn't mean to." Lyra raised a hand to stop him. "Punishment is for those who come with ill intent. You are different, I can sense it." She gestured to the crystal. "It has tested you whether you know it or not, and it found something. I am curious what it found." Alex hesitated. "I don't know. I only saw images, history, battles, treaties, things I wasn't supposed to see. I don't even understand it all." The princess's gaze softened further. "Then perhaps you are more than a simple human. Perhaps you are capable of understanding more than any outsider should. There is a choice before you, Alex Rains. You may leave, forget all of this, and walk away unharmed, or you may stay and learn what the Empire has guarded for centuries. But know this, the knowledge comes with responsibility." Alex's heart raced. The idea of walking away was tempting. He could avoid punishment and continue his diplomatic duties without further risk. Yet, a deeper part of him, the part that had led him to follow the light in the first place, burned with curiosity and determination. He wanted to understand, to see, to learn. I want to stay," he said finally. "I want to understand." Lyra studied him silently for a long moment, then nodded. "Very well. Then you must prove yourself. The chamber does not give its secrets lightly. It tests the heart, the mind, and the spirit. If you succeed, it will grant you knowledge. If you fail, well, that is why it is forbidden." Alex swallowed hard. "What kind of test?" "The kind that reveals who you truly are," Lyra replied. "It will show your fears, your strengths, your values. It will demand that you act wisely, think quickly, and choose with integrity. Only then will it trust you fully." Alex looked at the crystal again. It pulsed softly in the water, almost as if it were alive, as if it had waited for him to make this choice. He felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. Whatever lay ahead, he knew that this moment would change him. The accidental step into the royal bath had become the beginning of a journey he could never have imagined. Lyra extended her hand toward him. "Come. The chamber will begin its test. You must be ready, for it will not forgive hesitation or deceit." Alex took a deep breath and stepped forward, his human heart pounding with anticipation. The water was cool around his ankles, the mist swirled around him like a living thing, and the chamber seemed to close in slightly, focusing all its attention on him. The crystal's glow intensified, casting reflections across the walls that danced like ethereal flames. As he stood there, Alex realized something profound. This was not just a test of knowledge or skill. It was a test of humanity itself, of how a human could navigate alien logic, ancient wisdom, and moral challenges with courage and creativity. He had stumbled into this room by accident, but leaving it would require far more than courage. It would demand the very best of what it meant to be human. The mist thickened, the chamber's symbols shifted and writhed across the walls, and Alex felt the first challenge manifest, a vision appearing before him, projecting a scenario of an impending disaster in a distant city of the Valian Empire. He had to act, to make decisions that would affect lives, without fully understanding the rules of this alien environment. And in that moment, he realized that curiosity, his most human trait, had not led him astray. It had led him here, to a place where human ingenuity, empathy, and bravery might be the keys to earning the trust of an entire alien civilization. Alex took a deep breath, steeled his nerves, and stepped forward into the test that would define not only his fate, but the potential for humanity's place among the stars. Alex felt a mixture of fear and determination as he stepped deeper into the chamber. The mist thickened around him, swirling like liquid silver, and the crystal's glow intensified, casting strange reflections across the walls. The symbols etched in the walls seemed to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. He realized that the chamber was alive in some sense, aware of his presence, testing him even before the trial truly began. Princess Lyra observed quietly from the edge of the room. Her posture was calm, almost statuesque, but her eyes betrayed curiosity. She had not expected a human to choose the challenge, and her interest in Alex had grown. The crystal had reacted to him in a way that it had never reacted to anyone else, and the Valian Empire prided itself on understanding its own people. Humans, however, remained a mystery. The first vision appeared before him like a living scene projected into the chamber. A bustling city of the Valian Empire flickered into existence, towers of crystal rising into the sky, citizens moving gracefully through streets bathed in soft light. Suddenly, alarms rang out and the vision shifted. The city was under attack, not from humans, but from a natural disaster, a massive surge of energy from the planet's core that threatened to tear the city apart. Alex understood immediately that this was a test of his judgment. The crystal wanted to see how he reacted under pressure, whether he could assess a situation, make decisions, and act decisively. He could not solve the problem by brute force. He had no technology of his own here, only his mind and his instincts. He observed the scene, noting the weak points of the city's energy grid, the natural flow of the crystal rivers that powered essential systems, and the patterns of citizens moving in panic. Drawing on his human ingenuity, he formulated a plan. He imagined redirecting the flow of the energy through alternative channels, using the city's own architecture as a kind of conductor. He visualized creating barriers to protect the population, guiding the citizens to safety through calm yet authoritative signals. As he focused, the vision shifted to show the outcome of his choices. In some scenarios, he failed, buildings crumbled, and citizens were hurt. In others, he succeeded, and the city was preserved. The crystal seemed to evaluate his reasoning, prompting him again and again until he understood the principle. This was not about knowing the right answer immediately, but about demonstrating careful thought, empathy, and adaptability. Hours, or perhaps only minutes, passed in this testing loop. Alex felt his mind stretch and strain, pushed to think like a Valian strategist while maintaining his own human perspective. He realized that his advantage lay in being human. Where the Valians might rely on centuries of rigid training, he could improvise, think creatively, and adapt in ways that they could not. His success came not from brute knowledge but from observation, intuition, and a willingness to take calculated risks. Finally, the vision dissolved and the chamber went quiet. The mist receded slightly and the crystal floated to the center of the water, pulsing softly. Princess Lyra stepped forward, her expression unreadable. "You have done well," she said. "Many would fail at the first test, frozen by fear or indecision. You have shown clarity of thought and courage." Alex exhaled, relief washing over him. He realized he had passed the first stage, but he also sensed that the chamber had more to test. The crystal's glow shifted, and new visions emerged, this time focusing not on external threats but on moral choices. He saw simulations of Valian leaders facing dilemmas: who to save when resources were limited, how to decide between conflicting interests, and how to act when the correct choice was not immediately obvious. In one scenario, two regions were in danger from a spreading energy surge. He could only divert power to one of them, and both regions held equal strategic importance. The crystal watched his choice, revealing the underlying reasons for his decision. Alex realized that this was a test of values as much as intelligence. He had to consider fairness, compassion, and long-term consequences. He chose to save the region with the most vulnerable citizens, reasoning that leadership required protecting those who could not protect themselves. The crystal's glow shifted again, as if approving his reasoning. The scene changed repeatedly, presenting moral quandaries with no perfect answers. Each choice revealed more about his character, and Alex began to understand that the chamber sought not only knowledge, but also alignment with the principles the Valian Empire held dear: wisdom, fairness, and responsibility. As the trials continued, Alex felt a strange sense of connection with the crystal. It seemed aware of his thoughts, responding subtly to his reasoning, guiding him without forcing him. He realized that it was not simply testing him, it was teaching him, opening his mind to a perspective that was alien yet logical. He learned to anticipate consequences, to weigh options carefully, and to act with both courage and humility. Princess Lyra observed silently, occasionally taking notes on the subtle changes in the crystal's glow. She was fascinated by the human's approach. Unlike Valians, who often relied on tradition and instinct, Alex combined reasoning with imagination. He approached problems from angles that no Valian strategist would consider, and yet his solutions were effective. In the eyes of the princess, this was proof that humans could be more than diplomats or messengers. They could be true partners in safeguarding the galaxy. The next vision that appeared was not a simulation, but a message from the past. Alex saw glimpses of the Empire's history, moments when previous leaders had failed to act wisely, causing devastation and loss. He realized that the crystal's purpose was also to pass down lessons from history, ensuring that knowledge was preserved and used responsibly. Humans, he thought, might bring fresh insight precisely because they did not carry the same centuries of rigid thinking. After what felt like hours, the chamber quieted again. Alex sank to the water's edge, exhausted but exhilarated. The crystal floated before him, pulsing gently. It had revealed not only tests of skill and morality, but also lessons about leadership, foresight, and collaboration. He realized that his accidental entry into this forbidden chamber had given him an extraordinary opportunity, not just to learn, but to understand a civilization in a way that few outsiders ever could. Princess Lyra finally spoke, her voice breaking the silence. "You have passed the second stage. The crystal has shown you visions of our past, tested your judgment, and observed your choices. Few humans, perhaps none, have ever demonstrated the clarity, courage, and adaptability that you possess." Alex looked up at her, feeling a mixture of pride and humility. I only tried to do my best," he said. "I didn't know what to expect, but I tried to think carefully and to consider what was right." Lyra smiled faintly. "That is precisely why you succeeded. The chamber does not reward knowledge alone. It rewards integrity, courage, and wisdom. You are human, yes, but you have qualities that even many of my own people lack." Alex realized the weight of her words. This was more than personal praise. It was recognition that humanity itself had unique strengths. In a galaxy where alien civilizations often underestimated humans, he had just demonstrated that adaptability, creativity, and moral reasoning could rival centuries of tradition and training. The chamber began to shift once more. The mist thickened, and the water seemed to rise slightly around him. The crystal glowed brighter, and new visions began to form, this time focusing on cooperation and diplomacy. Alex saw scenarios in which alien civilizations faced conflicts, and the solutions required understanding different perspectives, mediating disputes, and finding common ground. He understood immediately why the crystal presented this challenge. Humans, unlike the Valians, were skilled at negotiation and improvisation. Our history, Alex thought, was filled with examples of building alliances, resolving disputes, and finding solutions in unpredictable circumstances. The crystal wanted to see if he could apply these human skills in alien contexts. In the visions, Alex mediated conflicts between different alien species, each with unique languages, cultures, and priorities. He had to understand their needs, balance competing interests, and propose solutions acceptable to all parties. At first, the scenarios seemed impossible. Some species were hostile, others suspicious, and every choice had consequences. Yet Alex relied on observation, empathy, and reason. Slowly, he guided the negotiations, finding compromises and solutions that satisfied all parties. The crystal pulsed rhythmically, as if approving his actions. Princess Lyra nodded silently, impressed by the human's approach. She had never seen anyone navigate such complex situations with such balance and creativity. Alex realized that even in failure, he had learned something valuable. Mistakes were not fatal as long as one reflected and adapted. Finally, the chamber quieted. The mist receded, and the crystal floated gently in the water, glowing softly. Alex felt a sense of accomplishment but also a profound respect for the intelligence that had created this chamber. It was not merely a test, it was a teacher, a guide, and a guardian of knowledge. Lyra stepped closer. "You have completed the second stage, Alex Rains. The crystal has tested your courage, your judgment, and your ability to understand others. You have shown that humans are capable of more than we imagined. There is one final stage, but it is not merely about intellect or morality, it is about trust." Alex straightened, feeling both nervous and ready. "Trust?" he asked. "Yes," Lyra said. "The final test will reveal whether you can act with integrity when faced with the unknown, and whether you can uphold the responsibility that comes with knowledge. You have already shown that humans can think creatively, act morally, and solve complex problems. The last stage will show whether you can be entrusted with the secrets of the Valian Empire." Alex nodded. He did not know what awaited him, but he was ready. He had entered this chamber by accident, stumbled into a world of mystery and challenge, and discovered not only knowledge but also the potential of humanity. Whatever came next, he would face it with courage, wisdom, and determination. As he stood there, the crystal's glow intensified one final time, bathing the chamber in soft, radiant light. The mist swirled around him, and the air vibrated with energy. Alex felt a deep connection to the chamber, to the crystal, and to the lessons he had learned. He realized that this was more than a test. It was an invitation to bridge two worlds, to show that humans and Valians could work together, and that the qualities of humanity, curiosity, courage, and compassion, had a place among the stars. Alex took a deep breath as the crystal S glow filled the chamber with a soft, steady light. He could feel the energy in the room shifting, as though the chamber itself was alive, aware of him, and watching his every thought. The previous stages had tested his courage, judgment, and moral reasoning, but he understood that this final stage would test something deeper: his character, his integrity, and his ability to act wisely in the face of uncertainty. Princess Lyra stepped closer, her eyes reflecting the light of the crystal. "This is the last stage," she said. "It is not a challenge of intellect or problem-solving, as you have already shown mastery there. It is a test of heart, of trust, and of commitment. The crystal will present situations that may seem impossible. You must decide not only what is right, but what is necessary for the greater good." Alex nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and apprehension. He had grown more confident with each trial, but he knew that the final stage would push him further than he had ever been pushed. He wondered what the crystal had in store and whether he could meet its expectations. The chamber shifted once more, the mist thickening and rising around him. The water at his feet rippled, reflecting visions of distant places in the Valian Empire. Alex realized that the crystal was now projecting real events, not simulations. He saw a remote colony on the edge of the planet, isolated and vulnerable, facing a natural disaster. The colony's energy grid was failing, and without intervention, the inhabitants, Valians and their allies, would be in grave danger. Alex felt a surge of determination. He could not simply observe, he had to act, but the chamber provided no tools, no instructions. He had only his mind, his judgment, and the lessons he had learned from the previous trials. He studied the vision carefully, noting the patterns of energy flow, the weaknesses in the colony's infrastructure, and the routes by which citizens could escape. He made a plan, imagining how he could redirect power, stabilize key systems, and guide the population to safety. The crystal pulsed in response, as if evaluating his choices. Alex realized that this was a test of initiative and foresight. He had to act decisively without knowing all the details, relying on intuition and the reasoning skills he had honed through the earlier stages. As he visualized the implementation of his plan, the vision responded. The energy surge began to stabilize, buildings held firm, and the citizens moved safely through designated channels. Alex felt a sense of relief and accomplishment, but he knew that this was only part of the challenge. The crystal's glow shifted again, presenting a new scenario, a political conflict within the colony's council. Two factions were in disagreement over the allocation of resources, and their dispute threatened to undermine the recovery effort. Alex understood immediately that this was a test of diplomacy and empathy. He considered the perspectives of both factions, weighing their concerns and priorities. Drawing on his human experience in negotiation and mediation, he devised a compromise that balanced the needs of both sides, ensuring that critical resources were allocated fairly while maintaining the stability of the colony. The crystal pulsed brighter, and the vision shifted once more, this time presenting a moral dilemma. A group of citizens had access to a life-saving resource, but sharing it with others would reduce their own chances of survival. Alex understood that this was a test of ethical reasoning. He considered the principles he had applied in previous trials: fairness, compassion, and the greater good. He concluded that the resource should be distributed equitably, even if it meant some risk to the initial holders, because the survival of the many outweighed the comfort of the few. The crystal's glow intensified, bathing the chamber in brilliant light. Alex felt a profound connection to the energy, as if it were acknowledging his understanding and his choices. He realized that the final stage was not merely about knowledge or skill. It was about the integration of all he had learned, the courage to act, the wisdom to judge, and the empathy to consider others. Princess Lyra stepped forward, her expression calm yet filled with admiration. "You have done well," she said. "The crystal has observed your actions, your reasoning, and your heart. It has determined that you are worthy of its trust. You have shown that humans are capable of wisdom, courage, and compassion, qualities that are rare even among Valians." Alex felt a mixture of pride and humility. He had entered this chamber by accident, never imagining that his curiosity would lead to such a profound experience. Yet now he understood that the chamber had chosen him, testing not only his abilities but also the qualities that made him human. The crystal floated gently in the water, pulsating with a soft, rhythmic glow. It projected one final vision, a glimpse of the future. Alex saw the Valian Empire and humanity working together, sharing knowledge and resources, solving challenges that neither could face alone. He saw interstellar alliances strengthened by trust and mutual respect, and he realized that his accidental entry into the chamber had set in motion a chain of events that could change the galaxy. Princess Lyra watched him closely. "The crystal's trust is not given lightly," she said. "It is a reflection of your own potential and your willingness to act with integrity. You have proven that humans are not only capable of understanding our ways, but also of contributing meaningfully to the stability and prosperity of the galaxy." Alex nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He understood that this was more than personal recognition. It was a validation of humanity's place in the cosmos. Despite being outsiders, humans possessed qualities that could complement and enhance the strengths of even the most advanced civilizations. The chamber began to calm, the mist settling and the water returning to its gentle ripple. The crystal floated at the center, glowing softly, as if satisfied with the completion of the trials. Alex felt a sense of accomplishment and clarity. He had faced challenges that tested his mind, his morals, and his character, and he had emerged stronger and more confident. Lyra stepped closer, her gaze thoughtful. "There is one more aspect you must understand," she said. "The knowledge you have gained is powerful, but it carries responsibility. The crystal's secrets are not meant for personal gain or selfish ambition. They are meant to guide, to protect, and to preserve. Do you understand this, Alex Rains?" "I do," Alex replied firmly. "I will use this knowledge wisely. I will act with integrity and consider the consequences of my actions. I understand the responsibility that comes with it." The princess nodded, a faint smile playing on her lips. "Then you are ready. The crystal has accepted you, and so have I. You may now leave the chamber with its guidance, but remember, the lessons you have learned here are ongoing. Each choice you make, each action you take, will reflect the understanding you have gained." Alex felt a profound sense of gratitude. The accidental entry that had seemed a minor curiosity had transformed into an extraordinary journey. He had learned not only about the Valian Empire and its history, but also about the potential of humanity itself. He realized that humans, with their adaptability, creativity, and moral reasoning, could play a significant role in shaping the future of interstellar relations. As he stepped toward the exit, the crystal's glow dimmed, returning to a gentle pulse. The chamber seemed to hum with approval, and Alex felt a connection to it that transcended understanding. He knew that this experience would stay with him forever, guiding his decisions and actions in ways he had not yet imagined. Lyra followed him to the threshold of the chamber. "You have done well, Alex Rains," she said softly. "You have proven that humans can be trusted with knowledge that is forbidden to most. Your curiosity, courage, and integrity have earned you a place among those who understand the true purpose of this chamber." Alex nodded, feeling a mixture of humility and pride. "Thank you, Princess Lyra. I will honor the trust you and the crystal have placed in me. I will use what I have learned to help, to guide, and to protect whenever I can." She regarded him thoughtfully. "Then the Valian Empire has gained not only knowledge but also a bridge to humanity. You are that bridge, Alex Rains. Remember this, and you will always find your place among us." Alex stepped out of the chamber, the door closing silently behind him. The hallway was quiet, bathed in the soft light of the palace. He felt changed, more aware of his potential and the responsibilities that came with it. The accidental entry had become a defining moment, a turning point that would shape not only his life, but also the relationship between humans and Valians. As he walked back through the palace corridors, he reflected on the lessons of the chamber. Courage, judgment, empathy, and integrity, these were qualities that had allowed him to succeed. He realized that these human traits, often underestimated by alien civilizations, could be a source of strength and innovation. He had learned that humanity's uniqueness was not a weakness, but a powerful tool for understanding, collaboration, and progress. Princess Lyra watched from a distance as he walked away, her expression thoughtful. She had seen many outsiders come to Veloria, but few had demonstrated the combination of qualities that Alex possessed. She knew that this human would play a vital role in the future, serving as a bridge between two worlds and proving that humans, though young in interstellar history, could be wise, brave, and compassionate allies. The chamber remained behind him, its secrets safe yet partially revealed to one human who had earned its trust. Alex knew that his journey was far from over. The lessons he had learned would guide him, the knowledge he had gained would be a tool, and the trust he had earned would be both a privilege and a responsibility. As he continued through the palace, he felt a sense of purpose he had never known before. He had stumbled into a forbidden chamber by accident, but he had emerged as someone capable of bridging worlds, understanding alien wisdom, and showing that humans, with their unique qualities, could make a lasting impact on the galaxy. Alex Rains, human and outsider, had passed the trials of the Forbidden Chamber, and in doing so, he had proven that courage, ingenuity, and integrity could transcend boundaries, earn trust, and shape the future. The galaxy was watching, and humanity had just begun to show its potential. Alex walked through the quiet palace corridors, the lessons of the chamber weighing heavily on his mind. He could still feel the crystal's pulse in his chest, as if the experience had left a permanent imprint on him. The knowledge he had gained was vast, and he understood now that it was not simply information, it was responsibility. Every choice he made from this point on could influence not only his life, but the delicate balance of the Valian Empire. Princess Lyra followed him silently, her presence reassuring yet commanding. She did not need to speak to assert authority. Her calm, graceful demeanor did that effortlessly. Alex was struck again by how different Valians were from humans, not just in appearance but in the way they perceived the world. Their actions were deliberate, precise, and thoughtful, yet he realized that his own human traits, curiosity, adaptability, and empathy, could complement their ways in ways no Valian had considered. The palace was preparing for the grand ceremony, an event marking the anniversary of the Valian Empire's founding. Delegates from across the galaxy would gather, and the palace was alive with activity. Servants moved gracefully through the halls, carrying trays of glowing fruits and delicate crystalline ornaments. Technicians adjusted light arrays, ensuring the palace's natural luminescence blended perfectly with artificial enhancements. Alex marveled at the harmony of motion and light. Everything was beautiful, precise, and yet alive with energy. Lyra spoke finally, breaking the quiet. "You have learned much in the chamber, Alex Rains, but knowledge alone is not enough. The next step is to understand how to apply it. The galaxy is not static. It is full of complexity, of alliances, tensions, and unknown dangers. Your role now is to bridge the gap between humans and Valians, to show that your species can contribute meaningfully to interstellar cooperation." Alex nodded. "I understand," he said, "but how do I begin? I have knowledge, but I do not have authority in your empire." "You have something far more important than authority," Lyra replied. "You have insight, courage, and integrity. Those qualities can open doors that power alone cannot, and you have earned the trust of the crystal, which is a rare honor. That trust carries weight, even among the highest ranks of Valians." The ceremony began as the twin suns cast long beams of light through the palace windows. Delegates from numerous species arrived, their ships hovering outside in brilliant formations. The human envoy, led by Alex, was received with cautious curiosity. Many had heard of the human who had entered the forbidden chamber, but few believed that a human could possess both the knowledge and the judgment necessary to gain the crystal's trust. Alex found himself walking among beings he had never seen before: tall insectoid diplomats with multifaceted eyes, aquatic species in levitating water pods, and others whose forms defied easy description. All eyes turned toward him as he approached the central hall, where Lyra awaited. She introduced him as the human who had earned the crystal's trust, a statement that drew a mixture of astonishment, respect, and skepticism from the assembled delegates. The ceremony proceeded with a series of formal greetings, speeches, and demonstrations of technology. Alex observed carefully, noting the ways different species communicated, the subtle cues of body language, and the traditions that governed interstellar diplomacy. He realized that the knowledge he had gained from the chamber was not just theoretical. It could guide him in understanding and influencing the interactions he witnessed. During a pause in the proceedings, a delegation from a neighboring system approached. Their leader, a tall, metallic-skinned being named Coral, expressed skepticism about humanity's role in galactic affairs. "We have seen humans only as newcomers," Coral said, his voice resonant and sharp. "Why should we trust your species with knowledge that has been guarded for centuries?" Alex felt a surge of determination. This was his moment to demonstrate what he had learned, to show that humans were not only capable of understanding, but also of contributing positively. "I understand your concern," he said calmly. "Knowledge carries responsibility, and humans have much to prove. But I can assure you that my actions are guided by integrity, judgment, and a desire for cooperation. The Valian crystal, which has observed me closely, has judged my decisions and found them worthy of trust. I hope that my conduct here can demonstrate the same qualities to you." Coral regarded him silently, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the light. After a long pause, he inclined his head slightly. "Perhaps we shall see," he said. "Actions speak louder than words." The remainder of the ceremony focused on demonstrations of cooperation. Alex worked alongside Lyra and other delegates, providing insights drawn from both human ingenuity and the lessons of the chamber. When a malfunction occurred in one of the energy conduits powering the palace's illumination, Alex quickly analyzed the problem, suggesting a rerouting strategy that stabilized the system. The delegates watched in astonishment as the lights returned to full brilliance, guided not by Valian tradition, but by human adaptability and problem-solving. Lyra's expression softened with pride. She had anticipated that Alex's skills would be valuable, but she had not expected him to integrate so seamlessly into the diplomatic and technical proceedings. His success in managing the crisis demonstrated a rare combination of knowledge, courage, and creative thinking, qualities that were now visible to all present. The ceremony concluded with a formal dinner, attended by hundreds of delegates. The tables were arranged in intricate patterns, and the food was both beautiful and unfamiliar to human eyes. Bioluminescent fruits floated above the dishes, their surfaces shimmering gently. Alex found himself seated next to Coral, who regarded him with measured curiosity rather than outright skepticism. "You handled the energy conduit well," Coral said, his voice softer now. "It seems that humans may have more to offer than we realized." Alex nodded. "We can bring different perspectives," he said. "Sometimes looking at a problem from another angle can reveal solutions that tradition alone cannot." Coral's gaze lingered on him. "Perhaps we shall see how well your species can integrate with ours. Trust must be earned through actions, not words." Throughout the dinner, Alex observed, listened, and engaged in discussions with various delegates. He applied the lessons from the chamber repeatedly, considering the needs of different species, proposing solutions that balanced competing interests, and demonstrating both empathy and strategic thinking. By the end of the evening, several delegates had begun to see humans in a new light. Lyra approached Alex quietly after the dinner. "You did well," she said softly. "Not only have you demonstrated knowledge and skill, but you have also shown diplomacy, empathy, and integrity. The crystal's trust is now reflected in the respect you are gaining from these delegates." Alex felt a sense of accomplishment, but also humility. He understood that this was only the beginning. Building trust and collaboration across species would require ongoing effort, patience, and vigilance. Yet he was encouraged by the progress he had made and the positive reception he had earned. As the night progressed, a sudden alert rang throughout the palace. Sensors detected an unusual energy signature near the outer perimeter, a disturbance that could not be immediately identified. Lyra's expression became serious. "It seems the galaxy is reminding us that knowledge and trust alone are not enough. We must remain vigilant." Alex followed her to the control center, where holographic displays projected the situation in real time. A rogue energy surge was moving toward a nearby settlement, threatening to disrupt critical systems. Alex analyzed the data quickly, recalling the principles he had learned in the chamber. He proposed a strategy that involved rerouting energy, stabilizing the surge, and evacuating vulnerable citizens if necessary. The Valian engineers moved swiftly under his guidance, implementing the plan with precision. The energy surge stabilized, and the potential disaster was averted. Delegates who observed the response were impressed, recognizing that the humans' quick thinking and decision-making had prevented catastrophe. Lyra watched Alex closely, her eyes reflecting a mixture of admiration and pride. "You continue to prove that humans have unique qualities," she said. "Curiosity, adaptability, and courage. These are the traits that allow you to act when others might hesitate. You are becoming an integral part of our efforts to protect the galaxy." Alex realized that his accidental entry into the Forbidden Chamber had set him on a path far beyond anything he had imagined. What had begun as curiosity and a simple misstep had transformed into a journey that showcased the potential of humanity. By demonstrating courage, integrity, and creative thinking, he was earning respect not only from the Valians but from other civilizations as well. As the night ended and the palace settled into quiet once more, Alex reflected on the events of the day. He had navigated complex social interactions, prevented technical disasters, and shown the value of human ingenuity in a universe that often underestimated it. He understood that the true lesson of the chamber extended beyond knowledge. It was about applying that knowledge wisely, ethically, and with courage. Princess Lyra approached him one final time before he retired for the night. "You have done more than survive the trials, Alex Rains," she said softly. "You have proven that humans can be trusted, that they can contribute meaningfully, and that their qualities, curiosity, adaptability, and integrity, are strengths that even we can learn from. The crystal's trust is only the beginning. Your actions will define the future of our relationship with humanity." Alex nodded, feeling a deep sense of responsibility. "I will do my best," he said. "I will honor the trust I have been given and use what I have learned to help wherever I can." Lyra smiled faintly. "That is all I could ask. The galaxy is vast, and challenges will continue to arise. But I have confidence that you will meet them with courage, wisdom, and integrity. Remember, Alex Rains, you are now a bridge between our worlds. Do not underestimate the power of that responsibility." As he walked back to his quarters, Alex reflected on the journey he had undertaken. The accidental entry into the royal bath had revealed the forbidden knowledge of the crystal, tested his character, and ultimately allowed him to demonstrate the strengths of humanity. He understood that this was only the beginning of a much larger journey, one that would require continued courage, wisdom, and collaboration. The night was calm, but Alex could feel the potential of the galaxy shifting around him. He had gained knowledge, respect, and trust, but more importantly, he had discovered the potential of humanity itself. In a universe filled with complexity, danger, and wonder, humans could play a vital role, not through power alone, but through ingenuity, integrity, and courage. And for the first time, Alex Rains realized that he was ready for whatever challenges the galaxy might present, knowing that his human traits, so often underestimated, could make the difference between failure and success, chaos and harmony. The following morning, Alex awoke with a sense of purpose he had never felt before. The chamber, the trials, and the ceremony had changed him. He no longer saw himself merely as a human visitor in the Valian Empire. He understood that his actions could influence events on a scale far greater than he had ever imagined. The lessons of the crystal, coupled with the trust he had earned, now rested upon his shoulders. Princess Lyra met him in the palace courtyard, the morning light casting a soft glow over her features. She looked calm yet determined, and Alex felt a renewed respect for her. She had guided him through the trials without interfering, allowing him to prove himself while subtly offering insight when necessary. "The galaxy will challenge you, Alex Rains," Lyra said. "Your actions in the chamber and during the ceremony have shown your abilities, but knowledge and skill are not enough. You must now navigate the political and social landscape of the Empire, demonstrating that humans can contribute meaningfully to interstellar cooperation." Alex nodded. "I understand. I will do my best to act wisely and responsibly." Lyra smiled faintly. "That is all anyone can ask. Today, you will witness a meeting of the High Council. Representatives from multiple systems will gather to discuss trade agreements, security measures, and interstellar law. Your insights may be valuable, and your presence as a trusted human will help bridge gaps in understanding." The council chamber was unlike anything Alex had seen. It was a vast circular hall, with seats arranged in concentric rings. Holographic displays projected across the ceiling, showing systems, fleets, and resource allocations throughout the galaxy. Delegates of countless species took their places, their appearances varied and often astonishing, yet all exuding authority and intelligence. Alex took his seat beside Princess Lyra, feeling both anticipation and a quiet confidence. The council convened, and discussions began immediately. Issues ranged from resource disputes to territorial boundaries, technological exchanges, and responses to interstellar threats. Alex listened carefully, noting the nuances of alien diplomacy. He could see the patterns of negotiation, the subtle tactics used to gain advantage, and the unspoken assumptions that guided decisions. Soon, a dispute arose between two planetary systems over the distribution of energy resources. Both systems relied on the same solar energy network, and tensions had escalated into threats of military action. The council seemed at a stalemate, unable to find a compromise that satisfied both sides. Alex realized that this was his moment to contribute. Drawing upon the lessons of the crystal and his own human ingenuity, he proposed a solution. "If we can create a dynamic allocation system that adjusts energy distribution based on demand and need," he said, "we can ensure that both systems receive sufficient resources without compromising security or efficiency. We can also implement a monitoring protocol to prevent overuse and address any discrepancies quickly." The chamber fell silent as the delegates considered his suggestion. It was practical, equitable, and forward-thinking. Coral, the metallic-skinned delegate from the neighboring system, leaned forward. "Your proposal is logical," he said, "but can it be implemented quickly? Both systems are under pressure." Alex nodded. "Yes, the Valian engineers already have the necessary technology. It is a matter of coordinating the systems and establishing oversight. The key is communication and transparency. If both parties are assured that the system is fair, conflict can be avoided." Princess Lyra watched him with quiet admiration. "Excellent, Alex Rains," she said softly. "You are demonstrating not only understanding but leadership. Your ability to synthesize information and propose practical solutions is remarkable." After a moment of deliberation, the council approved Alex's proposal. Delegates discussed implementation details, and agreements were reached without further conflict. Alex felt a surge of satisfaction. He had not only applied what he had learned, but had also earned the respect of beings who had doubted humanity's capabilities. The meeting continued, and Alex contributed whenever he could, offering insights on technological collaboration, trade regulations, and conflict resolution. His human perspective, unbound by centuries of Valian tradition, provided fresh ideas that bridged gaps and resolved tensions. By the end of the session, it was clear that the council valued his presence and input. As the delegates departed, Lyra turned to him. "You have proven yourself beyond expectations, Alex. Not only have you demonstrated intelligence and moral judgment, but you have also shown diplomacy, leadership, and the ability to act decisively when necessary. The Empire, and indeed the galaxy, has much to gain from your contributions." Alex felt both pride and humility. He knew that the challenges ahead would be greater, but he also understood that humanity had qualities that could make a difference in a universe full of complexity and uncertainty. Courage, empathy, adaptability, and integrity, these traits, often underestimated, were now his greatest tools. Later that evening, Alex and Lyra walked along the palace gardens. The bioluminescent plants cast gentle light across the pathways, and the air was filled with the soft hum of energy from the palace's systems. Alex reflected on how far he had come, from an accidental entry into a forbidden chamber to becoming a trusted advisor in interstellar matters. "Do you ever wonder," Alex asked, "why the crystal chose me? Why a human?" Lyra considered this for a moment. "The crystal does not choose lightly," she said. "It senses qualities that are rare and valuable. Humans, though young in interstellar history, possess traits that many advanced civilizations overlook. Curiosity, adaptability, empathy, and courage, these are the qualities that allowed you to succeed. The crystal recognized potential and you fulfilled it." Alex smiled faintly. "I suppose it was a combination of luck and choice. I didn't know what I was stepping into, but I tried to do what was right." "That is exactly why you succeeded," Lyra said. "You acted with integrity, thought carefully, and showed courage when faced with uncertainty. That is what the crystal tests for, and that is what the galaxy needs." As they walked, a message arrived from the council. A nearby system had requested immediate assistance. A rogue comet was on a collision course with a populated planet, and the inhabitants had limited technology to respond. Alex reviewed the data and realized that human ingenuity could again provide a solution. Drawing on both his reasoning skills and knowledge from the chamber, he proposed a plan to deflect the comet using a combination of Valian energy grids and precise orbital calculations. Lyra observed as Alex coordinated with engineers, scientists, and delegates from multiple species. His plan was implemented with precision, and the comet's trajectory shifted, avoiding disaster. Observers across the galaxy marveled at the collaboration and the effectiveness of the humans' guidance. After the crisis was averted, Lyra addressed him privately. "Alex Rains, you have not only applied knowledge but also inspired cooperation. You are proof that humans can be leaders, thinkers, and partners on a galactic scale. The crystal's trust was well placed." Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had come to the Valian Empire by accident, but he had discovered purpose, respect, and the ability to make a tangible difference. Humanity's potential, often underestimated, had been demonstrated through his actions. He realized that the qualities that had always defined humans, curiosity, courage, adaptability, and compassion, were now valued and respected across the stars. In the following days, Alex continued to participate in diplomacy, crisis management, and collaborative projects. His reputation grew, not as a mere human visitor, but as a trusted advisor and problem solver. Other civilizations began to seek his perspective, and humans gained recognition as capable partners in interstellar affairs. One evening, as Alex and Lyra stood on a balcony overlooking the twin suns setting on Veloria, she spoke softly. "You have done more than survive trials or impress delegates, Alex. You have shown that humans can bridge worlds, solve problems, and act with integrity in ways that inspire others. That is a legacy that will last long after today." Alex looked out over the horizon, feeling a profound sense of connection to both his human roots and the galaxy around him. "I never imagined that an accident could lead to something like this," he said. "But I understand now that opportunity and responsibility are intertwined." "I will continue to do my best," Lyra nodded. "And that is all anyone could ask. The galaxy is vast, filled with challenges and opportunities. But with humans like you, Alex Rains, the future is brighter than it has ever been. You have shown that courage, wisdom, and integrity, qualities of humanity, can shape the fate of worlds." Alex realized that his journey had only just begun. The accidental entry into the royal bath had revealed forbidden knowledge, tested his character, and ultimately demonstrated the value of humanity itself. He had earned trust, respect, and the opportunity to make a lasting impact. As night fell, the palace shimmered with light, reflecting the endless possibilities of the galaxy. Alex stood beside Princess Lyra, understanding that his actions could influence more than just his own destiny. They could shape alliances, protect civilizations, and inspire confidence in humanity across the stars. The lessons of the chamber, the trials, and the experiences that followed had taught him one essential truth. Humans, though often underestimated, possessed qualities that could make a profound difference. Courage, creativity, adaptability, and integrity were not weaknesses. They were strengths that could bridge worlds, prevent disasters, and build a legacy of respect and cooperation. Alex Rains, the human who had entered a forbidden royal bath by accident, had become a symbol of potential, trust, and ingenuity. And in the vastness of the galaxy, he realized that this was only the beginning. Humanity's place among the stars was no longer uncertain. Through courage, wisdom, and the simple determination to act rightly, humans could shape the future, inspire trust, and leave a legacy that would endure for generations. The stars above Veloria shone brightly, and Alex felt a connection to the galaxy like never before. He had proven that even a single human, guided by integrity and courage, could influence the course of civilizations. And as he gazed into the endless night, he knew that the journey ahead would be filled with challenges, discoveries, and triumphs. But humanity was ready. With Princess Lyra by his side and the lessons of the crystal guiding him, Alex stepped forward into a future filled with possibility, knowing that he had not only discovered the forbidden, but had also unlocked the extraordinary potential of humanity among the stars.